Alright, today I am going to show you how I make my buttermilk mac salad, my own little twist on it. And if you wouldn't mind commenting, liking, and subscribing. I know it's not a outside tool video, but we're going to be using some kitchen tools today. So the first thing you want is a pound of your favorite pasta. This is what I had in the cupboard, so this is what we're using. Get your water boiling. Get your pastas in there, and some salt. Bring that back to a boil, and then start the countdown on that. And we're gonna get some other stuff prepped, and I'll bring you back when we're ready. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put the wet and dry ingredients together as the base. So we are going to start with 2 cups of mayonnaise. I use Dukes mayonnaise. Next is a half of a cup of buttermilk. This is Wegmans buttermilk. Next is a quarter of a cup of apple cider vinegar. Then a third of a cup of sugar. A teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1.5 teaspoons of celery salt, and half a teaspoon of black pepper. Got that in there, just kind of give it a little stir with your spatula. Then get your mixer whisker, give that a good whisk. Okay, once you get that all mixed together like this, it should look something like that, and then set that aside. I'm just going to let that sit for now, and then we're going to get the vegetables. For this, I'm using a green pepper. You can use 3 Roma tomatoes. I only got 2 because I have this heirloom and this beef steak. I'm going to cut some of that up. I'm using half of a seedless cucumber, 1 small red onion. Got that all washed. We're going to get that cut up, and then we'll bring you back. Let's talk about the onion for a second here. You want to use 1 small red onion. So onions are kind of tricky when it comes to a salad like this because they're raw. So there's people that just hate onions, and then there's people that don't hate them, but they don't like them, so they'll tolerate them. So the trick is you want to cut it big enough so the people that don't like onions can pick them out, but small enough so the people that tolerate onions will still eat it. So you got to kind of try and find that happy medium there. So we're going to get this skinned and cut up. Alright, so we got half a red onion cut up, and I think that I'm going to just leave it at this half of an onion because the wife is one of those people that doesn't like onions but will tolerate them to a certain extent, but she will still pick them out. So we're going to do that. So now we have all our vegetables cut up in there. This, then you're going to want to take this, give this one more wang jangling. See? Pour this all together. Now first it's going to be very watery, but we're not done yet. So now the macaroni, you really want to cook it towards the dunner end. On the back of the box. If you don't, what's going to happen is it's going to finish soaking up too much of this, and then you're going to have to re-wet it, so you really don't want to do that. So then you just kind of mix it all together like so. Alright, so now you got something like that. Now the pasta has been out, it's cooled, you run cold water under it to stop it from cooking. And then this gets all mixed together. And what's nice is like once the pasta sucks up all the wet ingredients, you're left with this nice wet, really nice, perfect for a summer picnic because it's got all these nice greens and reds, and it's just really, and you can use any bell pepper you want. I just happen to have the green one, so that's what I used. But I mean, if you want to add extra red to it, you can throw a red pepper in there. If you prefer the yellow peppers, you can throw a yellow pepper in there. You know, you can use more cucumber if you want. You can leave the cucumber out. You don't even have to use the tomato. If you just want to make the buttermilk and you want to do traditional like celery, carrots, or maybe you want to do that with like the shrimp, so make a shrimp pasta salad. I mean, honestly, you could really do anything you want. This is more just to show you the creamy buttermilk style. And this is going to be more like the style that you get from the grocery store when you buy in those little tubs. So now we got the wet all mixed in there, and we're going to put a lid on this. This has to go in the refrigerator for a few hours to come together, and then before you serve it, there's one other step you got to do to it, and we'll bring you back when we're ready for that. Joe, brought you back. Told you there was one more ingredient. This has been about 4 hours that this is set. We haven't looked at it yet. The last ingredient is going to be some cheese. I'm using Cabot Creamery New York Extra Sharp Cheddar Cheese. You can use whatever cheese you want. If you're making this for a picnic you don't want to go to, Cabot makes a phenomenal habanero that goes down nice and smooth, but the next day, not so much. So if you don't want to be there, maybe throw some of that in there. Maybe if you like Munster cheese, Swiss, you pretty much throw whatever cheese you want in there. I'm doing this for the yellow color. So we got our knuckle grater out here. I'm just going to grate up about half a cup of this. Actually, probably maybe more about a cup or so. So, I mean, you could do maybe half a brick. This is just cheese I had sitting in the fridge that I opened up a couple days ago. So, this is the cheese we're going to go with. And so about that much, about a cup. Alright, sorry about that, got interrupted. So this is the mac salad. Go ahead and get that mixed back up. You can see the macaroni kind of soaked up quite a bit of the dressing. And then I just kind of sprinkle the cheese on, so you don't want it to clump them together because it's the fresh cheese. So if you use the cheese like out of the bag, there's like anti-clumping stuff that they put on it. That's why it's kind of powdery and doesn't melt very well. So I do fresh cheese for pretty much anything, and it's funny when I do it, people are like, oh my god, this tastes so good, what did you do? It's like, well, I used fresh ingredients. There. And mixed into it. Now the reason you don't put the cheese in when you mix everything together, well, for two reasons. For one, you don't want the cheese to get lost with everything that goes into it right away. And the other reason being is because the tomatoes are acidic, so if you put the cheese in with the tomatoes, it kind of turns to like a mushy, weird consistency. That's why if you ever worked at a sub shop, you always put the tomatoes on the bottom, make the sub, cheese goes on top. You put the tomato on top, cheese turns all mushy and weird. So, the fork here. I'm trying to get a little bit of everything on this bite. So, got your onions, your peppers, your cucumber. And that is how you do a buttermilk creamy macaroni salad. Perfect for any get together during the summer. It's got that nice little sweetness from the sugar you put in it, and that's the other reason you gotta let it sit too, is with all that sugar you put in it, If you try doing it and serving it right away, it's going to be like gritty, sugary. It's going to be a weird sweetness. But once you let it sit and all that sugar kind of gets into everything, and it's going to turn it more into like a sweet buttermilk, you know, like you get at the store, instead of a gritty, sweet weirdness. But yeah, so that's my take on a buttermilk Southern style macaroni salad. I will put the ingredients and everything that I used below in the comments if you have any questions about it, or if you made it, you tried it, I want to tell people how good it is, that'd be great. But yeah, appreciate you watching. Thanks.